In today's video, we're going to take some time to review how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide integers. So we're going to start with addition. Integer addition rule. When adding integers with the same signs, add the numbers and keep the sign they share. When adding integers with opposite signs, subtract the integers and keep the sign of the integer with the larger absolute value. So, first example, I have 20 plus 19. Both of these numbers are positive, so the signs are the same, and they're both positive. So I'm going to add the two integers together, 20 plus 19, and I get 39. And so my answer is going to be a positive 39. Okay? I have negative 8 and negative 18. Both of these numbers are negative, so my signs are the same, and they are negative. So I'm going to add the two numbers, 8 plus 18. 8 plus 18 gives me 26, and the sign they share is a negative sign, so my answer is going to be a negative 26. Example 3, I have 15 plus negative 6. This one's positive, this one's negative, so my signs are opposite. Okay? So I'm going to subtract 15 minus 6. You always put the larger number first and the smaller number second. 15 minus 6 is 9, so my answer has a 9 in it. And which of these has the larger absolute value? Absolute value of 15 is 15. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6. The positive number has a larger absolute value, so my answer is a positive 9. Last example. These two integers, negative 10, positive 6, have opposite signs. So I'm going to subtract. 10 minus 6 gives me 4. And then I compare the absolute values. So I know my answer has a 4 in it. I have the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. Absolute value of positive 6 is 6. Negative 10 has the absolute value that's larger. So my answer will be a negative 4. Right, subtracting integers. If you can add integers, you can subtract them too. To subtract integers, we just change the subtraction problem into an addition problem and use the addition rules. To change a subtraction problem into an addition problem, we do the following steps. The first integer stays the same. We change the second sign to, we change the second sign, subtraction. Got ahead of myself. Remember I told you I love mistakes? There's one right there. The subtraction sign to an addition sign. And we take the opposite of the second integer. So to subtract integers, think about adding the opposite. Alright, example number 1. I have 13 minus 6. So I'm going to keep the first number the same, change the subtraction to addition, and I'm going to take the opposite of positive 6, which is negative 6. So 13 plus negative 6. My signs are opposite, positive and a negative, so I'm going to have to subtract. 13 minus 6. 13 minus 6 is 7, so I know my final answer is going to have a 7 in it. And then I compare absolute values. Absolute value of 13 is 13. Absolute value of negative 6 is 6. Positive number has a larger absolute value, so my answer is positive. Example number 2, I'm going to keep the 16, change minus to plus, and I'm going to add a negative 18. My signs are opposite, so I'm going to subtract, put the 18 first. 18 minus 16 is 2, so my final answer is going to have a 2 in it. And I compare absolute values. Absolute value of 16 is 16. Absolute value of negative 18 is positive 18. larger absolute value is a negative number. The answer is a negative 2. All right, 23. Change the minus to a plus. Negative 7 is positive 7. My signs are the same, and they're both positive. So I know my answer is going to be positive. 27 plus 3 is 30. Last example, negative 6, I keep the same. Change the minus to a plus. Negative 19, I'm going to take the opposite as a positive 19. My signs are opposite. So I'm going to have to subtract. Take the larger number, 19 minus 6. 19 minus 6 is 13. So I know my answer has a 13 in it, and I have to decide if it's positive or negative. So I go back to my addition. Absolute value of negative 6 is 6. Absolute value of 19 is 19. Positive number has a larger absolute value, so my answer stays positive 13. All right, turning it over, we're going to review multiplying and dividing. Zoom this in a little bit. All right, multiplying and dividing integers. Right in the center here. There we go. We're not going to color code anything. I just forgot to take that bit out. All right, here's your rule. If the signs are the same, then the product or quotient is positive. If the signs are opposite, then the product or quotient is negative. And only a math to 2 wrongs make a right. 2 negatives make a positive. All right, first expression, I have 7 times 8. Signs are the same, and they are both positive, which means my answer is positive. 7 times 8 is 56. So my answer is a positive 56. 6 times negative 6, my signs are opposite. I have 1 positive number and 1 negative number. So when my signs are opposite, my answer is negative. Multiply as usual. 6 times 6 is 36. And I have a negative 36 since my signs are opposite. Next example, negative 9 times 2. Again, I have opposite signs. Okay, meaning my answer will be negative. 9 times 2 is 18. And I have a negative sign since we have opposite symbols. Last example is a little tricky. I have negative 4 squared. So if I think about this in terms of multiplication, this exponent sees everything inside the parentheses. So this is negative 4 times negative 4. Here, my signs are the same, so my answer will be positive. 4 times 4 is 16, and it stays positive because the signs are the same. I want to take a minute, take a little sidetrack down here, and compare this to this. When you have the negative 4 inside the parentheses, the exponent looks in the window and it can see both the negative sign and the 4. So like we just talked about, this is negative 4 times negative 4. 2 negatives multiplied together make a positive, and that's a positive 16. When I see negative 4 squared without the parentheses, the exponent can only see directly in front of it. So it's not seeing the negative sign out in front. So this is 4 times 4 with the negative sign out in front, meaning that my answer is negative 16. This is a tricky concept in algebra, but it shows up quite frequently, especially in the first and second unit. So make sure that you understand the difference between when you have a number or a base inside a parentheses being squared versus a base without any parentheses being squared. Very different answers, and signs will trip you up if you're not paying attention. All right, back to integer operations. Here I have 144 divided by negative 12. I have a positive and negative, so my signs are opposite. So my answer will be negative. Divide as usual. 144 divided by 12 is 12. And my opposite signs mean my answer is negative, so my answer will be a negative 12. All right, 425 divided by 25. Let's do some mental math skills here. I know every 100 there are 4 25s. So think about quarters, right? For every dollar, there's 4 quarters in a dollar. So 4 quarters make 100. 4 more make 200, 4 more make 300, 4 more make 400, so that's 16, plus 1 is 17. So my final answer will be 17. My signs are the same, meaning my answer is positive. So my answer is positive 17. Next example, I have negative 80 divided by 10. Signs are opposite. And since my signs are opposite, my answer will be negative. 80 divided by 10 is 8. Negative. And last example, I have negative 60 divided by negative 12. Signs are the same. They're both negative. That means my answer is going to be positive. Divide as usual. 60 divided by 12 is 5. And it stays a positive 5 since my signs are both the same.